Am I wrong for asking my parents for their entire estate if they want me to be my sister's guardian? I, 23 female, have been told my entire life that if anything happens to my parents, I will be my sister's guardian. She is 33 and has some disabilities. She is currently living in a group home. The government pays for a good portion of the cost, but not all. My parents have made sure that they have accessed every resource available for her to make sure she has as good as a life as she can. I was visiting her last weekend when they brought it up again. They are both reasonably healthy, but they both had health scares in the last couple of years. They once again said that I would be her guardian. I have been giving this a fair bit of thought. I have 2 older brothers. They are both married and established in their careers. They would be better choices than I am. I want to go see the world. I am lucky enough that my job can be done from anywhere that I can access the internet. When we went to dinner, I brought it up and said that I had 3 ideas. 1. They make all 3 of us her guardians so we could split the responsibilities and duties. 2. They leave their entire estate to my sister in a trust that will oversee her care. Or 3, they leave me their entire estate with provision that I become her sole guardian and take full responsibility. Mine is sentimental stuff for the rest of my family, obviously. I thought that was fair since it's not like they are rich and their estate will most likely consist of their house and the insurance policies they took out when they realized the long-term cost of care for my sister. They said I'm trying to shrink my responsibility to my sister and that I'm greedy for trying to get everything. I had one last suggestion and they really hated it. I said that they are welcome to cut me out completely out of their will, but that had to include guardianship of my sister. They could leave everything to her and my brothers, but that meant I would be completely free of responsibility for her care. My dad got really angry and my mom was crying when I left. My brothers both called me to say I was being an asshole springing this on my parents and that I was being greedy trying to keep them and their families from getting anything when our parents passed away. I asked both of them if they wanted 100% responsibility for our sister in return for the entire estate. I volunteered to sign away everything for them. Neither one took me up on the offer. I hate the fact that just because you're younger and you're not at the stage of your life where you're married and have kids like your other siblings, that they think they can spring it up on you because you don't currently have the same responsibilities. But no matter what, all of that stuff should be split equally between siblings. Like, why is that my fault that my sister or you guys had a child with disabilities? Or why is it my fault that my brothers are married and I'm not and I don't have kids? Like, you don't get to say that. My 27 female ex 29 male threw a 6-year relationship down the drain. I don't know where to go from here. A 6-year relationship down the drain. My 27 female ex 29 male had weight loss surgery a little over a year ago, and now after losing over 100 pounds, out of nowhere said he needed some time to see if he still wanted our relationship. That was on our anniversary in November. I spent Thanksgiving by myself, and on Christmas Day, he gave me a card with a typed letter saying he couldn't do this anymore, but still wants to be friends. I'm shocked and hurt. We have an apartment, phone lines, and pets together. We were saving to buy a house out of state to be closer to his family. Now, all those plans mean nothing. He keeps in contact with me daily through text and even checks in when I don't respond. A few days before he dumped me, he texted me a TikTok, and when I opened it in the app, another person's username and picture popped up saying they sent me the TikTok video. I clicked on the profile and saw it was a woman's soft corn account on TikTok. I asked him if he knew anybody by that name, and he lied and said no. Eventually, it came out that this was his friend he was helping build a social media following. He is a truck driver. He had several comments under her video saying how beautiful she is. I recently found out that the same friend posted my ex on a date with her on her Instagram with heart emojis. The post was from a week after he dumped me. My heart is shattered. I really can't understand how he could jump to another woman in a week after being with me for 6 years. I can't understand why he kept in contact with me while seeing someone else. To put the cherry on top, he took off work to come into my town for my birthday this weekend. I never asked or implied I wanted him to. Now he's saying he needs to explain it to me in person because I just don't understand him. What's there to understand? What's there to further explain? I found nude pictures of myself, 30 female, and female friends on my fiance's 28 male computer. I have been with my fiance for almost 4 years now. We have lived together for 2 years and just signed a lease after moving to a new city a few months ago. This happened an hour ago and I finally calmed down enough to write this. When using my fiance's computer today to download a PDF, I saw the most recent folder had my name, so I saved it there thinking it was a specific folder for me. Nope. When I go to get my PDF, I see a folder full of naked pictures of myself. Thinking the worst, I go up one folder to see 10 other women's names listed. Yes, all full of nudes. Some are his exes, some are his female friends I didn't know he had any sexual relationships with, and other are women I don't even know. I don't even know what to think at this point. I have no idea how to confront him about this. We've had a healthy relationship and I trust him completely, maybe less now. But we are always open about everything. We have had a healthy sex life as far as I know and haven't had any trust issues previously. I am unsure when these images were saved. Were they sent when we were dating? I have no idea and I don't really know computers well enough to know when they were saved. I don't even know if these other women are aware there are folders of them naked on his computer. I am not a averse, and he even has a normal folder that I don't have any issues with. The fact he has exes and friends saved is what's killing me. I have to confront him about this and I have no idea how. I feel like this isn't normal to have friends and old exes' nudes saved in a neat little folder. Please help. How do I confront him and have a helpful conversation about this without screaming and crying? Okay, she says something like about the nudes. She goes, the nudes of myself were all sent by me, but there were some of me sleeping. Ew, creepy! I, 30 male, am considering ending my relationship with my partner, 26 female, due to her being $250,000 in debt. I am a 30-year-old male and I have a well-paying job, roughly $100,000 per year and no debt. My girlfriend has $250,000 in private student loans from undergraduate private school with a variable interest rate. Recently, the interest hit over 11% and doing the math on the loans has me devastated. Okay, before we even read on further, I am one of those people who I'm okay with you breaking up over debt because you're not just marrying the person, you're marrying all that crap too. So that her debt becomes your debt. With how fast it is growing, she will need to put $25,000 a year into it just to keep it in the same place. That basically guarantees that I will never have financial help during our relationship. Additionally, with how much she will need to work just to pay the loans, I won't have much help around the house or with our kids if and when we have some either. I keep blaming myself that I can't just deal with it. It's just money, right? But at the same time, when I look at the reality of the situation, I can't help but feel I need to walk away from this situation. Number one cause of divorce is financial problems. Just putting it out there. Additionally, she's going back to school in the fall for a higher paying job, probably 60 to 85K income at the end realistically, with the possibility of 125K a year if she works herself to death. But this program will add another 30K in federal loans. I think this is a bad decision, but it's also the only option she seems to have to up her income. A lot of jobs that if you get a full-time job with a good company, they'll pay for you for your extended education. I hope a lot of people know that. Like they will, a good sized company will pay you to get higher education. You don't have to go do it yourself and then get another job. I feel like I don't want to wait until I'm 45 when this debt might be paid off to have children. I don't want to put my life on hold in this way, but I also love her a lot. We've talked a lot about this and about her plan to pay it down, etc. It now feels like my options are either accept that this is reality and it will be many years before she's free of this debt, or end the relationship. I just found out that the guy my ex-wife has been dating for 2 years is a registered sex offender. So yeah, this week has been a roller coaster. Last Friday morning, my wife was Googling the boyfriend for one reason or another, most likely related to upcoming court dates. First thing we found after Googling him was that he had a DUI and a revoked license. Well, that's not good, but then the next thing she showed me. There he was in the National Database of Registered Sex Offenders. The incident happened over 20 years ago, which would put him around 18 years old. He had sexually attacked a child under 12. Holy that's up, right? Holy I've been sending my kids over there for over 2 years and I had no clue. This launched a CPS investigation at the school. My children are 12, 9, and 7. I would never have sent them there if I knew this dude liked children. Me and my wife are so goddamn mad. We have been dealing with my ex-wife's bullshit for 2 years and she never once told me she knew he was a kid fucker. How do I know she knew? Because in my mind, if CPS calls you and tells you the man you're dating is a registered sex offender, then you would fly off the handlebars. Jump into survival instinct mode. Nope, not her. She will not admit she knew, lies to me that he never lived there. I have so much text proof. Just lies, lies, lies. Well, thankfully, when I took her to court last time, I was awarded full custody because she was, get this, arrested 10 minutes after work with weed, ecstasy, and meth in her purse, on her way to pick up the kids. This woman has done no good for anybody. Best thing she did was lay there and get pregnant so I can have my children. I have revoked all visitation and she has to get caught up in the $9,000 in overdue child support before I even entertained the idea of a supervised visit. I just needed to rant. I'm even leaving stuff out because it's not a soap opera, it's a rant. Am I wrong for wearing a wedding dress to a wedding? Okay, so like titles like these make me think you're like automatically the asshole because like everyone knows like duh, why would you wear a wedding dress to a wedding? but I feel like there's more we should dissect before we make that decision, right? So my friend, 20 female, and I, 19 male, have been friends for a few years, and she recently got engaged. A week ago, I got a DM from her for a small costume party she was hosting as a celebration for her getting engaged. I asked if there was a theme, and she said that there wasn't. I'm a cosplayer, so I had a lot of choices. I didn't want to rock up in anime cosplay, so I thought it would be funny to go to an engagement party as a corpse bride. I arrived at her house yesterday and everything seemed normal. A few people complimented my costume and I was having a lot of fun. After 10 minutes, my friend's fiance walked out in a black tuxedo and announced this was actually their wedding. Apparently, my friend saw a video of someone doing this and wanted to do the same. He asked us all to go to the backyard for the ceremony to begin. I went straight to him. I asked him if I should go home quickly and change my outfit and that I would get back before it started. He told me it was fine since I didn't know this was the wedding. I trusted him and followed everyone outside. They got married and everything seemed good. The reception was just in their house again, so everyone just walked back inside and picked up where they left off. I tried talking to my friend and celebrating with her, but she kept making excuses to not talk to me. I assumed it was just because she was tired from the big day and wanted some alone time. I didn't bother her after that, and the party soon ended. I got home and half an hour passed when my phone started getting notifications. I checked and it was my friend texting me. She was cussing me out and telling me how I ruined her wedding. I was really confused and asked what I did. That only made her more angry. She told me it was basic knowledge not to wear a wedding dress to a wedding. I reminded her I had no idea it was a wedding and that I asked her now husband if I should change and he said it was fine. She didn't respond, but I got a text from her husband. He asked why I would tell her he said it was fine. I told him he said it was fine. Then he said I should have changed anyways and it's my fault that the two are fighting over this. I tried texting her that I was sorry and if I had known I wouldn't have done it. I woke up today and saw her and her husband have blocked me on everything. So, am I the asshole for not changing out of the wedding dress when I found out it was actually a wedding? Edit. I'm a guy. I cosplayed the character Emily from The Corpse Bride and had blue paint all over it. I'm also Australian and never heard a costume party meaning fancy. Everyone was dressed up in funny costumes. Am I wrong for letting my sister walk me down the aisle despite my fiancé and his family's objections? I, 23 female, was raised by my older half-sister, 32 female. I never met my dad and our mom OD'd when I was 10 and my sister was 19. My sister's dad was still in her life and was willing to support her, but not me. My sister chose to be my guardian and her father's family went low contact with her as a result. In order to raise me, she gave up a lot. Her relationship with her family, college, her 20s, and so much more. A few months ago, I got engaged and I told my sister that in addition to being my maid of honor, I also wanted her to be the one to walk me down the aisle. All my life, she's had to fulfill so many roles for me, big sister, mother, father, friend, that it only felt right that those multiple roles be honored on one of the biggest days of my life. My sister was ecstatic and so was I, but when I brought it up with my fiancé, he objected. My future in-laws are very traditional, and my fiancé had always expected that his wedding would be a very traditional white wedding. He said that it was great that my sister was my maid of honor, but that her having two roles wasn't, and that it wasn't appropriate for her to walk me down the aisle since that's usually done by a man. Says who? Says who? Apparently his family had assumed that my future father-in-law would be the one to give me away since I don't have any male relatives. I told him that I appreciate his father being willing to fill that role, but that the one who makes me the person I am is my sister, so it's right that she be the one to give me away. It turned into an argument that spread to my in-laws. My mother-in-law called me a few days ago to say although she understands how important my sister is to me, that it's also my fiancé's wedding and I shouldn't be putting my sister before him on his day. But how does it affect you? I would understand if it affected him directly, but it's literally just your sister walking down the aisle and giving you to him. I really don't see the problem with this unless I'm missing something. I definitely heard her on that, but this is still important to me. At this point, my sister has even said that she doesn't mind just being the maid of honor and that she doesn't want to turn my happy date into something stressful. So now it's just me holding out and being stubborn, but I really don't want to concede at this point. Am I being the asshole? Okay, so she has an edit to questions people had asked her. Are the in-laws contributing to the wedding? Yes. In fact, they're paying for about 75% of it since I'm still in school and don't have the money to put towards a wedding the scale that fiancé wanted. Does your fiancé have sisters? No, he has 2 younger brothers. Did he ask your sister for your hand? He did, actually. She also helped him custom design the engagement ring. She showed me their group text and at one point they spent 3 weeks trying to decide between 5 different diamonds. Am I wrong for refusing to help my daughter with her car payment because she is a stripper? I, 42 male, have a 22-year-old daughter. She's in college and lives on campus. I agreed to help her make her car payments since she was in school. I was recently informed by a young man I work with that my daughter strips at a club about 40 minutes away. I confronted her on this, and she said she didn't plan to do it after she graduated and just needed some money. I told her then to work at McDonald's, not use her body. Ugh. But I get your point. I really do as a dad. But the amount of money you make at McDonald's versus the amount of money you make as a stripper is drastic. If school didn't cost an arm and a leg to survive, I'd be like, yeah, work at McDonald's. But life is expensive right now. It doesn't cost as much as it did when you were in school, which was like, what, $1,000 a semester? Shit is expensive. School is like $5-6 grand a semester minimum. And that's not including living expenses. We got into an argument and I asked her to quit stripping and get a decent job then. She refused and said stripping was easy money, so basically I said there was no need for me to pay her car payment anymore since she is making money so easily. She got upset and said that wasn't fair and that she doesn't make enough for that. I told her to figure it out. She told my wife about what happened and my wife was upset by her job choice but says it's unfair for me to stop supporting her so suddenly over an argument. I think it's perfectly fair. It's my money and my decision when to cut it off. Ouch. Can we talk about the guy who snitched on him? Like, wait, that's so weird. If I ever saw a coworker's daughter, sister, mother, whatever at a strip club, I ain't telling him. That's none of my business. I think, honestly, that guy is the asshole out of everyone. And people say, no, I would want to know. That's not, this girl's a grown-ass girl. Am I wrong for leaving a wedding to go eat at McDonald's? Hi, I'm female 25. Recently, my colleague, 31 female, invited me to her wedding, which happened yesterday. I was super excited and happy for her. Just in case, I asked her if there were any guest fees. She said, no, you don't need to pay me anything. On the day itself, everything went well until the reception, dinner time. To my shock, I was presented with the wedding menu that had prices on it. For example, steak, $50. Everything was ridiculously expensive, including the vegetarian options. At first, I wanted to question her because, well, she lied to me that I didn't have to pay for anything, but it was her wedding and I didn't want to spoil her day by embarrassing her in front of everyone. I have never been to a wedding where you've had to pay for dinner. Like, that is bonkers to me. Also, note, I've only been to Afghan weddings and we kind of pride ourselves in making sure everyone is full on food and like we pride ourselves on dinner, honestly. So maybe that's why. Is it normal to pay for food at a wedding? However, the only other option was to simply not eat, as I didn't bring enough money for both a meal and a ride back. But this was completely unfavorable as I had skipped my lunch to save space for the wedding meal and was pretty hungry. I'm guilty of this. When I know I'm going to an event or a wedding, I will most definitely not eat anything all day because I'm gonna grub at the party. Suddenly, I remembered that I saw a McDonald's about 5 minutes away from the hotel. As tactfully as I could, I asked the bride if I could make a quick stop to McDonald's as I didn't bring enough money for the reception meal. I said that I'd be back in time for the gift ceremony and cake. Why would you tell her? I would just go. Is that normal? I thought she'd agree, but to my horror, she got really upset. She said that she put in so much effort to get this Michelin star restaurant service, yet I still wasn't happy. That I was trying to bring her down by saying that I'd rather eat McDonald's. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but McDonald's hits the spot when you're hungry. Alarmed, I said that I didn't mean it that way. I just didn't have the cash for it. She then scoffed and said, whose fault is that? Although I was trying to keep my anger, those words really pissed me off. So I told her, you were the one who lied that I didn't need to pay anything. Getting angry as well, she replied, what I meant was that there was no attendance fee. You literally assumed that you'd get a free 5-course dinner. Wow, you're cheaper than I thought. With a glare, she asked me to leave her wedding. I did, struck dumb and rather hurt. And on my way home, I grabbed a Big Mac, LOL. Back at home, I told my boyfriend everything and asked if I was an asshole. He thought it was a funny story, but said I was an asshole. If I didn't have the money, I could always pay her back later. In his exact words, he said, you chose the wrong time to be stingy. My other friends agree as well, saying that it was not tactful of me for doing that at the wedding. And although she lied, I should have just brushed it off instead of dampening her happy spirits. After hearing their opinions, I feel quite guilty and embarrassed. However, that one little part of me still thinks that it's justified because 1, she lied to me, and 2, publicly humiliated me. Please help me out here. Am I the asshole? I don't know why you went up to her and told her that you were leaving. Just leave. Like, I don't know why you felt the need. If someone came up to me at my wedding and said, hey, I'm gonna get McDonald's, I would get rubbed the wrong way too. It's like, what, you don't want to get the food that I'm providing? But I would also never expect someone to pay for a meal at my wedding.